gonna get this on record. And hello, everyone. September 20th. Happy Health Habits crew. We are already talking, so we're already into this. So we have got to say hello to everyone who's watching the recording. Um, Today, and I'm going to share my screen here real quick because I just want to congratulate you because you are here, and Cliff is not typically here, so I'm glad he had time to be here today. But you're loving yourself enough to be here, and when you are investing time and energy in you, it will always pay off. Always, always, always huge dividends. So you get big rewards on each investment that you make. And as Dr. A talks about, it's a journey with a destination, right? That is much bigger than your pant size. Okay. We won't go through all of that. And as we all try to recreate our lives and to round them out and integrate those bad habits of disease into those healthy habits, right? Our goal is integration and wholeness. So we want to do that with each other because we're all bent and damaged. Every single one of us, are we? Raise your hand if you're bent and damaged. Is your wheel on your whim? Your rim is probably not round. I don't know one person who has a round rim. So we're all working toward as whole as we can. And part of that conversation we were just having is part of working on being holy, right? And holy meaning having integrity and whole, and in so many ways. And growth happens in this inside of this system, becoming a dominant force in our lives. We were talking about spirituality before we started recording, and how we have those breakthroughs. And as we start to get it together in the areas of, our eating habits, our movement, our hydration, we start to see clear to going from burned out and worn out to more content and thriving. And as we go along, that's those spiritual breakthroughs and connections happen as well. And element 24 of your life book is going to talk about, okay, what level of consciousness are you in as you go through the system. So Cliff is definitely Cliff is out there in the world having those spiritual, he's on that journey now. So if you want to follow him on Facebook, he's loud and proud with his spirituality. And as we go through this, remember, we have to connect our primitive brain with our thinking human brain, create a gap between stimulus and response. That's called stop, challenge, choose, or pause, pray, pause, pray, pick.
Then you can proceed.
Stay in the pause and then proceed as long as possible. And that's our challenge. That's the emotional gym work that we've all got to learn to go to the emotional gym. Who watched Dr. Anderson's How to Find Joy last week? Carrie did. I know Kathy's not here and she was watching it as we speak. Is Betty okay getting in, or does she need help?
She's in, but
she's in. Okay.
She's got her mic open, but not her video. But so I'm hoping she can hear us.
Okay. He was talking about really how to find joy, and it really is inside of that stop process, that breathe, stop, think, pray, analyze what is the voice inside there saying to us. That's where the magic is, and that's the mental gym, because sometimes that could be painful. We can get a little sore going there with our thoughts. So but we have to be quiet enough, long enough to hear those thoughts. And the thoughts, and he talked about this, and you guys can go back and watch the recording, are really the bad thoughts that drive us to do bad things are what the ego is. And he talks about the ego, right? And the ego wants us to be the hero, the victim, or the villain. But the God on the other side of the shoulder, the angel of the devil, the other side wants us to be in the creation mode. He wants us to be at the top of this, in creator mode, coach mode, challenger mode, doing above the line behaviors. So we have to connect the brain and body. And he was talking to the ladies that were on that day about getting in sync and coherence. So I want to practice a little coherence today. Do you have that video, Carrie, that you could play?
The hug hack one?
Yeah. Would that work?
Yeah, I think I can pull that up. Let me practice that. I haven't done it in a while, but here we go.
So Cliff,
Take
you haven't
over.
been around in a while, but we've been working on creating that sync between the head and the heart and calming the body down long enough so that we can calm down the stress chemicals, calm ourselves enough to know that we're safe, we're not in real danger. This is perceived dangers. We live in a world of distraction, and with social media and all of this information, we live in this place where our nervous system constantly thinks that we are in danger. And so we've got to learn how to, and part of, he talked about this, how to find joy is to quiet yourself enough, calm yourself down enough to hear the voices and say no to the ego. Say no to
Hello,
the
my name is
voices. So
Dr.
let's practice coherence with this short video today. Can you all hear
Isolation,
it?
physical distance, my favorite term, social altruism, whatever you want to call it. The truth of the matter is that right now during the coronavirus, as a species, we are being asked to do the most counterintuitive thing that we could be forced to do in a time of deep stress. We are attachment based as a species. We are touch based as a species. So we have a quick hack here that I call the hug hack. That's the application of the self-havening touch on the arms when we first jump on a call. Now I know this could sound a little silly, so let me explain the neurology underlying this. The self-havening touch shifts our state into what's called a delta wave state. And in the process of going into that delta wave state, which means our brain is operating at a very calm, easy brainwave state, we're receiving additional serotonin and GABA. Now, serotonin's that super famous neurotransmitter that we all remember for the antidepressant commercials. So it's the opposite of being sad. And GABA is a very calming neuromodulator. And so this little hack, even as you're watching me do this, your brain has specific neurons that are going to start to mimic what that feels like. It will start to generate a delta wave state in your own mind and body. But as you start to apply the self-havening touch to your arms, you're also giving your hug and you're mimicking the experience of somebody else touching your arms or giving you a hug. So think about when somebody's having a hard time, we might walk up to them and put our hand on their arm and run it down and go, hey, are you okay? Well, this is what we're doing by giving ourselves the self-havening touch on our arms. So this quick, easy hug hack maybe takes 30 seconds. But when you're greeting somebody next time, take a moment and say, hey, let's give each other a hug. I've missed you. Starting a team meeting, putting everybody into a serotonized state, always a good idea. And enhance connection in every way that we can. So let's hug hack each other. Let's bring in soothing, calm connection while creating a soothing, calm environment in our brains and our bodies. Thank you for your time. I look forward to dealing with you soon.
So consider yourself hugged. Hug, hug. Put the link to that in the chat if you would, Carrie, because again, starting any meeting, starting any conversation with a hug puts everyone in a serotonized state and it makes you calm. You can make better choices and you can find joy that way. One of the people asked Dr. Anderson, does joy actually heal you? And yes, it does, because joy gives you those healthy, happy hormones that you need to heal the body. And so this is just one way that we can do it ourselves. Do it for ourselves, give ourselves that healing, that good healing chemical and energy, and help ourselves to find higher levels of joy as we go throughout our day and then our life. And I'm finding, having practiced this for the last 2.5, almost 3 years, that I'm tasting flavors of joy that I never have. And I've have emotional control that I've never had before either. So it's a lot easier to practice, stop, challenge, and choose, or pause, pray, and proceed with that kind of control. So just take that real seriously. It's a simple thing, but it's free, and you can do it, right? Carrie, hasn't it changed your life too?
Oh yeah, I mean, just learning how to breathe properly and learning what the sympathetic, parasympathetic, manual override, calm,
Yeah.
It changes everything because like Dr. A says, just you regain your prefrontal cortex and you're not crazy Amy in my head. I mean the amygdala, not
Yeah.
just other
Amy
crazy
the
Amy
amygdala.
voices.
Yep. Amy the amygdala. She's gonna keep us safe no matter what. So it calms her down.
So when you're on a coach call, just go like this: calm down, Amy. Calm down. Oh, I'm talking to my amygdala.
Calm down.
Sure you are.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Put it into practice. I don't know if any of you are with me on this, but in October we're going to have another kind of formal Get Active challenge, and I'm going to get active in the mental gym, and I'm going to do a 90-second challenge and to count to 90 seconds and do this hugging hack for 90 seconds at least once per day. And if anyone's into that with me, we'll talk more about it later. But that's what my goal is going to be, and of course building some muscle mass. Thank you, Carrie, for playing that. You've been seeing this ad nauseum, guys. Tonight is another special thing, and I'll touch base on this, and then we're going to talk individually and share our wins of the week and talk through our challenges and what we need to do to do better. But just remember to look into this because muscle mass loss is real. It's a thing. It's called sarcopenia. It's a clinical disease. And that it causes bad health problems all around, all around everything. It's essential to have our muscle mass. Osteoporosis, we talked about preventing age related falls and breaking bones and all of that. And then for the people who are not in a weight loss mode right now, we'll have the whey protein as an easy supplement to keep the protein up in your diet. And then tonight they're going to be talking about how to implement it at each stage and phase of your game, so that it can help you again, not become a bodybuilder, but to suit your purposes in each phase of your health and well-being game. So don't miss that tonight. I don't have the recording from last week, and then there'll be one more next week, 3-part series of how to use these new additions. And I'm super proud personally. I just got to take a minute to say I'm super proud that they actually added this, because it just shows how much they care about our overall well-being, because it is so critical to have not only maintaining weight, a healthy muscle mass helps you to maintain your weight, your total energy expenditure, your basal metabolic rate is higher, and then prevents the bone density stuff too, and keeps you active and doing all the things that you want to do and fulfilling on your best purpose in the fifth and sixth phases of this whole system is fulfilling on your higher purpose in life too, right? So keep in mind only 10%, maybe 10% of the clients and the people and the friends that I work with, only 10% make it to the last phases of these books. So I'm challenging you. And I know if you're here today, you're going to be one of those people that are living it throughout, right? We're living it throughout, not just beyond the pants size, far beyond the pant size. So definitely talk to me one-on-one about how that suits you, how these things suit you and how they work in and what would be your goal and when and all that. We'll talk privately, but there's information everywhere now. So just go ahead and ask questions and just get curious and learn and grow. And about all of that. So I do have to share on my testimonial about that real quick. They talked Monday night. Was anybody on Monday night about some experiences? Sharon, were you on? Carrie, did you hear? They were sharing experiences with people using some of these products. And my personal experience, I started it in August, or beginning of August, and I love the strawberry lemonade. And my husband and I started it in August, and then in the beginning we went on vacation. We totally forgot to bring them. It wasn't an ingrained habit yet. We totally forgot to bring them. Didn't bring them at all. Felt on the trip, and then prior to going, I felt really great on them. I felt like it helped me with my blood sugar control a lot, and I had great energy. Tastes great, kind of gives you a sweet hit without the sugar. So it tasted great. Didn't feel any much difference or anything like that. And then we went on vacation, and when we went and did our hiking and all of our we were hiking every day. I got sore, and I noticed it was missing. And I couldn't believe I noticed that it was there was a difference. And then when I got back, I didn't get on top of it either. It's still not an ingrained habit. And I was doing more trying to build muscle on these horrible, my arms are just like my upper body strength. I've been trying to work on it, but I'm so sore even just trying to work on building muscle. And that's going to be my goal in October, is to get on this and ingrain, make this become a habit and see if I can actually build muscle. Because I look so sick, and my arms, my upper body is terrible. My lower body, I can do a million squats. I've got great muscle tone there, but so that's my testimony that I've really noticed. Now I'm sore again, trying to get back into this. And so they really made a big difference for me that way. So I'm excited to get back on, on using them and make it more of a habit. So I've been liking them a lot. And bone density is always a concern for me as well, because I've got, that in my family. So I'm loving it. I love the flavors. I think it's a great addition. And the whey protein as well is great, easy protein that we're going to start using as well for those times when we don't have the meals that we, convenient protein is really important, and high quality as well. So that being said, let's talk about our drama this week. Has anyone shifted below the line this week? And if so, how far below the line are you? The question is, right, how long will you let yourself be there before you round out your day, keep your habits all in order, get your circle as round as possible again? And let's talk through some of the ways that we need to, what do we need to do next? What's happened, what we want to have happen, what's missing, what's next to get out of the drama triangle and into the creation empowerment triangle. So who wants to go first, sharing a win of the week and or a teachable moment? Cliff, you had some wins of the week already this week, I think, right? You started sharing. You opened up your Bible study book that you bought, right? And so that was a win, just even going there, right? What other
Right.
wins did you have this week?
Just ordering it and getting it in was, it was kind of an exciting thing for me to re-engage my faith.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice. And then one of the big things that I found was, I started posting out on Facebook. This was a huge win, I think, is I posted out on Facebook, and I thought, I wasn't quite sure how people were going to respond to me posting, Bible quotes and prayers and stuff like that. And I just got a kind of an overwhelming response from my friends on Facebook. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I love your quotes. I love what you're posting." And, one of the things that, a couple of them said was like, "I could never post that." And it just, like I was saying earlier before we started recording, one of the biggest things that I coach a local high school shooting team. And one of the biggest things that we talk about is like life lessons, especially since it's a sport that, it's kind of a gun sport. So we try and teach as much life lessons as we can so that kids, respect other people and things of that nature. And one of the things that we kind of harp on with them is other people's opinion of you is none of your business. And when I started telling people that on Facebook, I started sending that to them. Now my news feed of just my friends are like these prayers and these posts for the Bible quotes and that. And oh my gosh, it's so awesome. So the big win, I think.
That's a huge win. That's a huge win. It really is. That's a huge
And then
win. So you kind of recently got knocked underneath the line here too, into the drama triangle with some things that happened in your personal life. So you kind of got knocked off your high horse, so to speak, right? Boom. Raise your hand if anyone's been knocked off their high horse into the drama triangle this week.
Yeah.
Okay, when we get knocked off the drama triangle, we just have to go through our process, right? How do we get back up above the line, and what do we do? So, Cliff, what's happened? You don't have to share details. What do you want to have happen? What's missing? What's next? What are some steps you can take to get yourself back into that empowerment triangle?
It's embracing my faith, believing in myself, making sure that my routines stay the same, that I don't get into this melancholy, trying to, going
Right.
down a dark hole,
Yeah.
staying positive and keep moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's missing is maybe you got to get back on routine, then was what I'm
Yep.
hearing. You're
Yep.
healthy. Okay. So you didn't want the drama to happen. You didn't want to have that happen, but now, okay, you realize the routine is missing. If I get back on that, then I won't slip into depression, right? And then what's next is, what would be the next one thing that you've got to do? Now you've got your Bible study every day. What is the next thing that you've got to get back into place?
Just concentrating on getting healthy. I just had both my knees replaced, so I'm out walking, trying to get my steps up, trying to get
Okay.
active again, and get moving. So
Okay. So get back into your movement. And do you have to shore up on your water and your nutrition? Or are you doing your every 2 to 3 hours? You need to tighten up that a little bit.
yep, yeah, I definitely need to get back on that. I mean, it's just the whole thing. It's just getting all the
Yep.
routines back and getting
Yep.
back into paying attention to me instead of the drama,
Hmm.
and working on myself.
Absolutely. Perfect. Bravo, bravo, bravo. You know what the routine is. You just, okay, I'm back. And you just decide. And then you might give yourself a minute or two to be in the drama and wallow and have a pity party and tomorrow and for 5 minutes. And then you'll say, okay, I'm done. Right.
Yeah,
And that's
definitely.
okay, and that's okay to do, and as long as you realize you're doing it. And then, grieving is a process. We can't not grieve just to stay above the line. We can't push it under the rug either, right? So allow ourselves space to feel those emotions, process through them. I'm going to give myself an hour to process through my emotions, or whatever you're going to do. And then you're going to be done. You're going to go, not wallow. No pity parties for Cliff, right? That's awesome,
Yep.
Cliff.
Yep.
That's fantastic. And you're getting your optimally healthy day back in a row. Your morning routine, your nighttime routine, your
Yep.
fueling and hydration, and your sleep. I find personally, when I focus on that wheel every single day, putting myself first, and at all costs making sure that that balance happens, everything else goes way better in my day. Absolutely everything. And I can handle anything that life throws at me if I just focus on that wheel being as round as humanly possible. So that helps me a lot. It's changed my life. What about you, Sandy, Candace, Sharon, Betty? Anybody else want to share? Is your wheel all wonky and bent up this week, or have you fallen below the
I've had
line?
a mix. I just want to let you know that Betty is listening through my speakerphone. I'm not sure if she unmutes, if we can hear her, but she can't hear a thing that's going on her computer. That's why the phone's up to her ear.
Oh,
But she's
thank you.
here with us, and we're making it work. I've had a mix of experiences. A couple times. So I'm in charge of a lot of groups. I'm like the leader of a Red Hat group, a Girl Scout group, yada yada yada. So I arrange all these meetings. I reserve places, and then, like hours before, we're down to 2 people. Nobody's going to come. It was supposed to be a potluck. It is not a potluck with 2 people, so I canceled it. Now, in the past, I would have just been going crazy, freaking out, like, how stupid is this? La 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 la, I'm gonna just quit. But this time, I just thought, you know what? Yeah, it's okay. Just let it go. There's always next month. We can evaluate again. It'll be fine. And if I don't care, I mean, if I don't let it bother me, then I'll just be happy with whatever decision was made. And so twice this week, Red Hats and Girl Scout meetings got canceled. For me, I'm doing this for my mom so she can socialize with the groups. So that was disappointing. But I talked to her about it. And she said, it's okay. You tried, and they just don't want to make that happen to come here to where I am. Just do what you used to do or whatever. So that's all good. And then I had a meeting with her nurse practitioner, my mom's, and I was there this time because my mom doesn't really like this person and she's kind of nasty. And I didn't want the nurse practitioner being treated the way I'm sometimes treated. So I was over there, and we just had a most wonderful interaction. And the nurse listened to my mom about some changes she wanted to make. and it went really well. Now it includes me doing a little bit more. Mom needs to be weighed 3 times a week instead of just once. So I added a little bit there, and her shower person ghosted her. So I'm giving her showers again on Friday mornings. And normally I would just be one more thing to do, but I see it as it's an opportunity to be gentle to my mom and to be kind to her, and to think of all the times in my life that she bathed me. And it's just one more way to have some touch. And but the funny thing that happened was she grabbed the shower nozzle and accidentally sprayed me, total body spray all over me and the floor. And then when I'm drying her off, she somehow grabbed the towel and with full strength fist bopped me in the nose. Accidental. We're just laughing our butts off. I said, Mom, you're trying to drown me and take me out the first time we get back in the shower routine. What the heck? We're just laughing. Said, I'm so sorry. I said, well, I know you didn't do it on purpose. You just got to laugh. And I said, I'll clean up the mess on the floor, so don't panic. So everything's going really well. Steve and I are in our Bible study. I'm doing my kayaking. I'm walking. I have a little precancer thing here. That's why I have this thing on my face. It's kind of bothering, but you know what? It'll go away. So my only thing is, again, the water and the every 2 hours and healthy. I am just so not healthy, but you know what? Everything else is moving along just fine. So it'll come. I know it'll come. I am not panicking over it. It is what it is. And I'm just happy to be successful in all the other places that are important. And so both ends of the spectrum.
Bravo, my friend, bravo. Because really, we can't work. Sometimes we get so stuck below the line with our thoughts and beliefs and our family and friends and all the drama that we can't really. We have to, again, evaluate each time we go to focus on something. On a scale of 1 to 10, how ready, willing, and confident am I that I can really focus on this macro habit? Sometimes it's not eating and it's not nutrition first. When you first started, Sandy, you were ready, willing, and confident, and that was where your focus was. And then what took you off was the real root cause of why you were eating bad in the first place, which was the habits of the healthy mind. So you had to shift. That had to become a higher priority, right?
Absolutely.
And look at all the healing that's happened.
Yes.
And guess what? You've done the real work, because the real work will help you to have element number 2 be a no-brainer next time you go back to it. It'll be a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't gained. So the plus is I went to the dentist. My teeth are great. And I have not gained in the last 6 months. It's not where I want to be, but it hasn't like continued to mushroom look like in the past. Amy, you and I have history up and down every 5 years. It's where it is right now. And I am working so hard to just keep it stable. But keeping it stable.
That's a huge win too, isn't it, everybody? Round of applause. Because before it would have been right? Yeah, it's a symptom. Now this symptom is not happening because the healing is showing through. So I'm proud as punch, just absolutely proud as punch.
I am too. I'm proud of you.
There you go. Yay, Sandy. Yeah, I was gonna say most people do it the other way around, but you've done the deeper work. So like you said, the other things will come because what you're doing is foundational. And a lot of people don't even actually get to that other realization on their own. And Cliff was already jumping to the spiritual realizations, which is another level when you can think outside yourself. So that's a huge sign of healing on many levels, actually. So
I'm laughing because
what you said, Carrie, was right. Thinking outside yourself is what needs to happen. And that's the ego, right? The ego is in there. We're the only species with metacognition. Metacognition means that we can actually hear ourselves think, and we can hear our thoughts.
Just monkey chatter half the time.
It's monkey crap most of the time. Yeah, monkey crap most of the time. It's that ego is Satan, right? Satan, or the ego is what I call it. The monkey on the monkey, my monkey. But that when you learn to go, okay, I'm shifting my perspective. I'm going to change this emotion from one of a pain in the butt to giving the shower to the grace and the compassion and the joy of it. That's you're dominating your ego. You're being the dominant force of your brain, and you are controlling your events. You're not controlling your events, but you're controlling how you perceive them and how you react and respond to them. So that's
and I don't think I've shared this. August 15th was the anniversary of my twin sister's death, and I think if I remember, I posted that day that I still think about her every day, but it's not with grief and sadness.
Yeah,
it's with gratefulness that we had 37 years together. And so that shift has been that's been really large too.
Yeah,
and I'm loving what we're doing here. Betty's on the phone, and so I'm hearing her comment. You're not hearing them, but
you're living inside.
Actually, I can hear her. Yeah.
Can
so
you
if Betty
hear
wants
her?
to say
Okay,
something, yeah.
Good.
Betty,
because I don't know if her microphone's working. So if Betty wants to talk, you can either unmute your mic or try talking through my phone. If they can hear you, that's great.
Yeah, we can hear you, Betty.
I don't know. Am I muted or?
You are, but they can hear you through my phone. So just talk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't hear Dr. Amy Michelle at all. But I did hear Cliff, and I hear Sandy loud and clear. She's beautiful.
I'm on the phone.
But,
yeah,
I know.
But you just muted yourself, Sandy, and so now we can't hear Betty.
Told that years and years ago, decades ago, and I've always said that to my girls, and now my girls that are in their 40s and 50s come back to me and say the same thing. And my one said, it really saved me at work where there's a couple of nasty people there, and to know that, Mom, that it's none of my business what they think of me, because they think nasty things about everyone. And I just want to give my biggest thing to this week, because it's too hard doing this, but the biggest thing this week was yesterday. I was putting on my pants and they slid right up, and it's like, oh. And then this morning I took my jammy bottoms off, put my pants on, and they pulled right up, and the joy, wow, 2 days in a row my pants pulled right up. I felt like a toddler. Yay, look what I can do.
All by yourself. That's awesome.
My moment of joy.
That is
guys,
true joy.
Go to my Facebook page. I posted Betty's before and after picture and story this weekend. So I didn't share.
Thank you.
I didn't share it in the chat.
Thank you, Sandy, for sharing your microphone.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, she's hit her 40 pounds and something days, and it was a great story. So go look, go comment. I should share it. I'm going to share it in the Optimal Life group. Sorry guys, I have been remiss at that, but
there's the link to Betty's story. But I just want to say that Roxy commented, Sharon, thank you for commenting on the Betty post, and Kathy, who's usually here, she already commented. So you're getting lots of nice comments, Betty, from your friends here in the group. So they all said we enjoy hearing you on the Wednesday calls. You are an inspiration, Betty.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kathy was on vacation and she came back having had for a whole week in Lake Geneva, was thrilled with her behavior, thrilled with her choices. She was 2 pounds down and she didn't even intend on it. So she was thrilled with the outcomes of her lifestyle. So she wanted me to share that with you.
Yay, Kathy, who's going to hear all this on the recording.
Yes, on the recording. Wendy, Margot, Sharon, Candace, anybody have a win of the week? Yes, Wendy. Did you have a win or
Well, I just got back. I spent a week with my son and daughter-in-law down in Arizona.
Yay!
It was really nice to see them again, and just not much going on. We just hung out, but took some walks, and it was still a little warm. So it's kind of a slug, but other than that, it was nice. It was fun to be with family again.
You look refreshed.
Explore possibilities of moving down there. I look at it with different eyes, in case
Yeah,
looking at more, not as a visitor really, but as if I would be living there.
yeah,
So
potential.
what's going to sharpen your saw in any of these areas is really what's next for you. Is you're in the area of you're just in this area of thriving and or contentment. So looking at what's going to fulfill you more, move you forward on a scale of 1 to 10 between depression and fulfillment and failure and success. What would, if you're a 7 in fulfillment or an 8 in success, what would make you a 9 or 10? Okay. So that's really what's next for someone like Wendy. Unless Wendy, you have, getting back to nutrition goals that I don't know about, or hydration, which I think you're probably good on. Right.
Well, I do have an order due, so I'm gonna order the aminos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked about the aminos with you because of your age and preserving that muscle mass and muscle tone and your great metabolism that you've had. You want to preserve that.
Yeah, we walked through the ordering, and because I had some rewards that were going to expire, but I don't need any more bars or shakes or any of that stuff. But they're letting me. I mean, it works to use the rewards.
Yes.
In there, and it counts as a normal premium order.
Did you hear the Monday night call, Wendy, or not?
No.
No. How about you, Margot or Carrie? Did you hear the other benefit people are touting?
No.
Do you, Margot, did you hear it?
Were you on, Sharon? Are you able to share? It looks like you're parked.
Sharon, what did you hear the other benefit that the women were really excited about?
Their hair and their nails. Their hair and their nails.
Well, that's why I asked if it had collagen in it, because
yes,
that's why I take collagen for that. But
they're noticing hair and nails improvement, which is what woman doesn't want that? And the guys were a little jealous because they were wanting the guys, of course. So thank you, Sharon, for sharing that. That was a great little aha moment. And I have to say, I don't know how much more in the hair department I need, because I've been taking that the liquid turmeric, which is what actually changed my hair, which is what spurred all these haircuts in the first place. So I'm not sure what I'm getting into with this now. Because
any more pointers, Sharon, from Monday night while you're
what
parked?
other thing and Monday night did you call?
I did.
Got her notebook right there. Look at you, traveling ready.
I thought it was interesting. There was a Shauna and Jeff that were talking, and how as you get older, things just go downhill.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, it doesn't have to go down. Nothing has to go downhill.
Correct.
So anyway, I just like, that's a different, that was what their perspective was. And so they've obviously changed that, but I'm like, yeah, no, obesity and everything else as you get older you don't have to go downhill.
You don't have to go downhill. Now, sarcopenia is real. It is muscle loss due to aging. It is a real thing, but we have the power to do weight-bearing exercise, to add resistance training, to add amino acids. We don't have to let it take us down a road that it could go. We don't have to do that. And you're totally right, Sharon, and you're totally empowered at 68 years of age, knowing that you are the dominant force. You are driving. You're full on in the driver's seat. And I'm so inspired by you. I think it's so awesome. Do you remember hearing the guy about the couple that got lost kayaking and they went way out of their way?
Yeah.
What did you get out of that, Sharon? They were old. They were an older couple too. It was their anniversary.
Well, they went like 4 miles farther or something, and did not have soreness and like they would have expected for doing that additional length of
they got totally lost and off track, and they had 4 miles out of their way, had to get back and did it without any problem. And that, and I can see Sandy doing that. I can see Sharon doing that. Matt and I got off on the wrong trail and went 12 miles on a walk we had no intention on going. I mean, and we were able to do it, right? the point. We were able to do it, and we were not, we're not gonna have to have EMT and Lifeline come and find us in the. So
And 4 miles is no joke in a kayak.
it's no joke in a kayak. Yeah. So Sharon, what's a win of the week you've had? And are you finding that, again, like Wendy, are you getting higher on this fulfillment and success scale? Are you finding like 1 to 10? Are you jumping up there with fulfillment and success
Well,
now that you've kind of?
I was going to share just a couple things that happened last week, but that I shared with Amy. But so I told her, I said I experienced the real emotional desire to eat. I had a really emotional experience with being almost, our bank account almost being hacked. And I just went into this, panic kind of mode. And I said, if I wouldn't have had to panic if I'd have used stop, challenge, and choose. And, but I had this real desire to, snack. But I said, I did, but I didn't have anything bad to snack on. So I
In
I
the
didn't
house,
have,
your
yeah,
environment
I
was
didn't have
so
anything.
clean.
I didn't have anything bad in the house to snack on. So, I mean, I had an extra, some extra almonds, but I'm like, well, I didn't have cake or cookies or ice cream or anything like that to go to. So I think that was a win, that if it's not there, you can't be tempted. And
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
and I did tell her that my husband, we hadn't had ice cream in the house for a month, and I'd been asking him to or try. Just said, hey, I have a frozen dessert in the freezer, want to try it when and he says, well, it's really hard. I says, well, I can leave it out, and it was a brownie, one of the brownies mixes, decadent brownie mix, and he ate it. So I was pretty excited that he indulged in a snack that I have been, and
And he liked it.
didn't have any say that's the worst thing I've ever tasted or anything like
And
that. So,
he liked it.
and
Yeah.
was satisfied for.
Right.
So
Well, that was a great example of something happening that was boom, and she didn't just drift slowly below the line like we normally do. She was like slam, boom, down below the line, like and then she got slammed with this emotional desire to eat. She said, I've never really felt like that before, and how I just wanted to eat, so she got a good experience. She
yeah,
got.
I'm like, okay, I read this is what emotional eating is.
Yep.
What people experience emotional eating. Like, yeah, I was there.
Yeah, you were ready to drown your fears and sorrows, but it just wasn't there. So no wagon to fall off of.
Yeah. No, I don't follow wrestling,
but the emotion is there.
Exactly. I don't follow wrestling, but she had that moment on the wrestling mat where they get dropped,
Slam.
Oh yeah,
full body slam.
That felt good to not, to not go back into a bad habit.
Yeah.
A really bad habit of, and sugar.
Sharon didn't call me crying and being victim and villain. She actually got herself back up, stood up from a full body slam, and took herself through these steps. What I want to have happen, what's missing, what's next. She picked herself up, stood up, did the whole thing, and man, she was reporting to me everything that happened, everything along, and I was just standing ovation the whole time. So brilliant.
Wow, Sharon, I am impressed, Sharon. That is amazing. That's like you fall 7 times, but you get up 8 as long as you get up.
So
but
it's just that this community, and continue to learn, grow and learn.
Yeah, you're continually hearing what you're supposed to do, and you did it.
And you keep hearing it, and like finally it starts to sink in.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're awake on the inside. This graphic is great. You're awake on the inside now, and you're battling and balancing the outside. We always are, right? So Good job, Sharon. Good job. And I know you're gonna hate me when I say this, but you know what? You're gonna be a great coach someday.
Because
And
you'll
so
have that story to tell, that
and
personal
so is
experience.
Wendy and Margot. What's your week? What's your week been like? Did you have a body slam? Or I know Margot kind of got body slammed. She kind of got body slammed, didn't she, girl? Yeah.
I was out on one of my walks, and there's been a trail that I've noticed that I haven't really tried yet, but I've been curious kind of where it goes and where it leads. And it was a beautiful day out, and I thought, today's the day I'm going to explore it. And it's just a neat little trail that goes back through our neighborhood, and without missing a beat and with no discomfort, I added another 1,500 steps to my walk. So I'm 3,000 steps on my, and it's a great trail. So easy to get to, no traffic, no hassles, no nothing. So I'm going to add that in and do it and keep looking down and drinking.
That's awesome.
I had to get a bigger water bottle because I'm walking further.
That's a huge win of the week. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, let's just kind of walk through. You got emotionally slammed, not body slammed, but emotionally slammed by something that you had an unmet expectation, right? And you did not just drift below the line like Sharon. You got body slammed, emotional slam, right? Because you had something unexpected happen, right?
Yeah.
And that was not what you wanted to have happen. And so what did you do in that moment when you didn't want it to have happen? You realized that you were what did you say? You said, I hit a wall. That's the words you used. I've hit a wall.
Yep, I hit a wall.
And what was missing? And what did you figure out was next?
When I realized that I just kept banging into it, I wasn't getting over it. I just kept banging into it. I stopped and I went, wait a minute, this is not what I want. And I sat down and I got real quiet and I started meditating. And I came up with some of my favorite motivational quotes in my head that are always there. And I just got real quiet for about 15 minutes, something like that. And then when I came out the other side of it, it was like I had an epiphany. I had my aha moment that said, this isn't a wall. This is just a stopgap. And I have to go back to my why of what I'm doing with my life.
It was an old tape, wasn't it, Margot? It was the old tape running.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Outside this, like the ego was running that old tape, right?
Yeah, it was just replaying old tapes that were getting in the way, and I had to play my new tapes that I have gotten as of the last several months, and remember again my why. And my why, of course, from my very beginning to now has changed considerably, but to me it's more powerful than it ever was. And it's like when I talked to you the other day and I went, it was such an aha moment when I went, oh yeah, okay, I can't let this wall defeat me because I have things I have to do. And it wasn't about, for a while there, it was all about me. And I had to get away from it being all about just me and more about my life and what surrounds me and what affects me.
And your purpose too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And how is your behavior affecting your surroundings, in your home, in your community?
It was crazy because once I did that, it was like somebody took a 10-ton weight off of my head and went, okay, this is gone now. the wall just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the challenges are still there, but now they're more if this can make sense for a challenge, now they're more inviting and exciting than damning.
Yeah. So for you, Margot, the wall is really the line. You hit the line, like you fell below and you just kept hitting the line, trying to figure out, why am I not going back up to the empowerment triangle? You know what I mean? You kept hitting your head on that ceiling and the line just kept down. You victim, villain, hero, like that whole thing keeps repeating and replaying. So you did a beautiful job, you know, again, standing up, getting yourself above the line, and now thinking about this all differently with new possibility. I'm brilliant. Bravo, 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 bravo.
It was a stop. There's no doubt about it. It really affected me. But once I was able to come out of it, it was a completely different change.
And do you remember how many hours it takes to become a master at something, to get a master's in something?
Oh, wasn't it like 10,000 or something ridiculous
10,000
to be an expert?
Mm-hmm. We just had some practice sessions. That's all. You had some practice sections on your way to your mastery of your mindset, right?
Well, and the crazy thing is, the solutions you find are solutions you already knew. You just let something get in the way of facing them and working with them. And that's what you have to get rid of. And as I say, my wall or my line or whatever you want to say it was, I just had to get beyond that and stop making excuses or playing the pity pot role of, why is this happening to me?
Right. Yeah. And why is instead, why is this happening for me? What am I to learn? Right.
Yeah.
What am I to learn? And Carrie, you haven't shared yet. Did you have a drift below or a stand-up moment?
Probably, but I don't really remember it right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I just, which is actually a good sign, because I've had mostly a good, steady, normal week.
Good. That's
which
great.
is out of the norms. What's normal? I don't know.
I was gonna say, what's normal?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. And I remember the week before last, he talked about make sure to watch those Dr. Anderson videos. They're so full of stuff. That the guests on it this time and on Monday night they were very across the board. There was a 21-year-old woman, there was a woman in cancer recovery, there was a woman, a guy who just wanted to get buffer, wanted to get that 6-pack abs. And there's just a really great variety of people and stories. And you just realize that we all have all the same problem. We're all very different people, but we have all the same problem: perception, decisions, and behaviors. That's it. Those are the only 3 things that we can control. And that's, but we all, it's the same solution to all these different problems. Does that make sense? And
yeah, that's actually interesting.
Say that again. Perception,
decisions, and behaviors are the only thing that we really have control of. And we all have, does that make sense? And all these people, it really hit me that, you hear these stories and you can get a little sick of it or whatever, but you know what? It's so profound when you think about all of the different walks and different issues. You know what I'm saying? It's just, everybody's got the same issues, and we've got to master our mindset and practice consciousness and practice this. Calm yourself down like you did, Margot. You stopped, you pause for 15 minutes. You probably prayed, right? You meditate, you did your affirmations, you recall, that's a skill set, guys. It's more important than going to the physical gym. It's the mental gym piece. That's the mental gym piece. And so that's what we've got to do every day. I'm going to challenge y'all to sit quiet for 90 seconds and count to 90. And that's just in itself a mental workout. And see if you want to join me on that little challenge coming up. because it's all in there. That's all we got to do is control that, what goes on in there. So there's one other thing I was going to say. Oh, I know, this is a little exercise. If you have a pen and paper, write this down. I want you to write these letters down. This is a fun little exercise that David did that I wanted to share with you. I made reference to it in the invite today, but write down the letters, capital letters, N, O, W, H, E, R as in rabbit, E as in elephant. So write that all down in a row, okay? NOWHERE. All written down. Now, once you write it, put your pen down, look at it, and what do you see?
Now here.
Now where?
Nowhere.
Now here or nowhere?
Where?
I got now here.
Now mine was now here.
Who saw now here?
Only because I was on long pause on the now.
Yeah. That means
But as soon as they were all there, then I saw nowhere.
your thinking is above the line. Yeah, as soon as you're all there, you saw nowhere, right? You're gonna see opportunity and possibility is now here, or it's nowhere. It's the same
That's
letters.
cool.
Same letters. So when you hit that line, guys, you just go, okay, opportunity is now here or nowhere. And it's up to you.
Perception.
Yep. It's up to you. So I love you. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being and showing up and living your life large. And
You matter, Sandy. You matter.
Woohoo!
I
That's
know
her
we're
message to
at the
all of
end,
us.
but I want to give you a quick fire update tip. Something
Yes.
I learned very important this week from my friend in Maui.
Maui. Mhm.
I have personal papers, and probably all of us do, that are in a steel firebox to protect them.
Yes.
He has several friends that had small safes and fireboxes for their papers and maybe extra money they had. The fire was so intense that it literally destroyed the papers inside the supposedly fire safe box.
That happened to my dad
That's
too in
what-
Paradise, California. It just melted
Yeah,
the whole
she
thing.
said she had 3 friends in one day that opened them up, and the box was okay, except it was charred. But when they opened it, everything inside was disintegrated.
Wow.
She went down to
Yeah.
the bank and took out a safe deposit box. She said, I won't keep
FYI.
anything in the house any way, shape, or form again.
Yeah.
So just a word to the wise, if you've got things that you cherish, papers, whatever, get them into a safe place, and the bank vault is probably the safest.
Yeah. Double extra backup.
Thank you, Margot.
Yes.
Yeah, love you
Good
guys.
tip.
Love you too. Love you. Have a great day. Stay safe, sane.
I have a tiny request. Can Sandy and Betty stay on? Just go ahead and stop the recording. I'm gonna see if we can do something with the microphone, and
Yeah, sure.
we'll just end
Sure.
recording, and everybody